Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Tech Life. I thought I'd start this video by giving you a glimpse into the behind the scenes of being a YouTuber. So it's 3:58 p.m. I have to do this super fast because I need to leave for work by 5:30. I live an hour from work, and so I need to hurry up. And part of my day was used up because I had to take my trailer. Actually, it's not my trailer, that's my neighbor's trailer. My neighbor lives over there somewhere. I had to borrow his trailer so I could take my zero turn. If you don't know what that is, it's a big riding lawnmower type thing. I had to take that to the mechanic because I was having some issues. Horrible lighting. I was having some issues with it and I need to get it fixed. I have an hour and a half before I have to do everything, and I want to get this video started. So let me set this down, keep setting up my little area real quick, and we'll get started with today's video, which has to do with GitHub. Let's go. Okay, so the initial setup is done. Now I just have to change a little bit and do my hair. And I don't even know why I'm doing all that because I'm shooting mostly a screencast. But anyways, let me go get that done and then we'll get started with GitHub. And I'm back. All right, actually, before we get started with GitHub, first I want to say thank you to all of you that have subscribed and have watched my videos and have left me comments. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, I definitely wanted to say that. And also, if you have not had a chance to do any of that, please take this moment right now to subscribe. All right, let's do it. Hey guys, so let's get into episode 2 of this little series where I am refactoring my first website into React. And I said I was going to get into GitHub, which I am, but I decided to make this little GitHub tutorial its own little video instead of making it part of the second video. So I'm going to show you 2 ways. The first way is if the first thing you do in your project is go to GitHub and open up a repo and then you start your work. The second way is if you start doing your work and then you decide to open a repo. I'll show you how to do that as well. So let's go ahead and get that started. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to my GitHub account and I'm going to open up a new repo. You don't have to worry about anything right here. Leave everything the way it is and just type in the name of your repository, which in my case, I'm going to use test repo. And I'm going to create my repository. So when I went to my bootcamp, this was one of the first things that we did. I think it was on day 1 actually. And if you want to know more about which bootcamp I went to, it's in the description. It was a SMU coding bootcamp. It was a 6-month part-time bootcamp. It was awesome. I learned a lot, including the stuff I'm going to show you right now. And you have the option of doing SSH or HTTPS. There's a lot of differences, but if you do the SSH one, you have to put in your password every time you submit it. You don't with HTTPS. So that's the one I'm going to use right now. All this stuff right here, don't worry about that. We're going to get to that in just a second. So now you want to go into your terminal. And again, guys, these are all Mac instructions. I think it's similar for Windows, but I don't use a Windows machine, so I don't really know. You want to CD into your desktop. So right now, PWD, I'm in my main home folder. So to see what folders I have available, this is everything I have. I want to go into my desktop, CD, desktop. And then from here, this is where I'm going to save my new repo. You can save it wherever you want, but for simplicity, I'm just going to save it right here on my desktop. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this link right here. Command C to copy it. And I'm going to type in git clone, and then I'm going to paste that right there. So now you can see that I've created an empty repository. It tells you it's a warning, and that's exactly what I want because I did create an empty repository with nothing in it. But you'll notice that now here in my desktop, I have my folder right here, test repo. So that's good. So now I just want to open up VS Code. And I'm going to take my test repo folder and just drop it right there. So now this is where I would start doing any work on my project or anything I wanted. So let's just say, for example, I'm going to start with an index.html page. Now you can see that I got to change it. I'll show you what that is in just a second. But now I want to go back into my terminal. I shouldn't have closed that, sorry. I'm going to go back into my test repo folder. And then from here, I'm just going to type git add dot or period. And what that's going to do is it's going to stage my file that I just created, my index file. It's going to stage it for GitHub. I'm going to type git commit dash m, open quotations. I'm going to type initial commit. Now this right here is just anything you want. This is just a little comment. Usually when your first commit is, people just type initial commit because that's what it is, your initial commit. So now it says that it's ready for me to push it. It created it, so I'm going to type git push. And in just a second, it's going to be done. So now if I go back to my GitHub and I go back to my test repo, you can see that now I have my folder here, and it says, here's my comment, initial commit, 21 seconds ago. Now I can start saving all my work here in that repo. Okay, so now let's create a new folder. Let's just call it about.html. And when we go back, now all we have to type is git add dot. That's going to take my new work and stage it. Then I'm going to type git commit dash m, open quotes, add it about file, and then git push. And there it is. So now when I refresh the page, there's my about file, added about file. Okay, so that is the terminal way of doing it. Now let me show you how you can do this from VS Code if you wanted. So let's add another file, call it contact.html. And just for funsies, let's just add some little boilerplate right there. Yes, perfect. You can reach me here. Okay, so notice that this little icon, this little number 1 has shown up here, right? This is letting you know that this folder, this workstation, this VS Code project is linked to a GitHub repository. And all you have to do now is type the same command mesh, the same note that you would have added from the terminal. Here I'll added a contact page. And then I do the little check right there. And now you can see that I have a 1 down here saying that I have something push up. I'm going to hit that right there. And it's going to do its thing. And now everything's done. So I can go back here, refresh the page, and there's my contact, added a contact page. And if I go into it, there's all my stuff. You can reach me here. So pretty simple. I know I was kind of fast, but you guys can rewind and pause, and it should be pretty simple so you can get started with saving your work on GitHub. So now let me show you what to do if you started working on your project and you didn't remember to start a GitHub repository, but now you realize that you want to do that. So let's get that done. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it test repo 2. I'll open up a new window here, file, new window. Let me minimize it again. And this time I'm going to take test repo 2 and drop it in here. And index.html, my cool website. So now I've started my project and I'm like, oh, you know what? I forgot to start my GitHub repo. Let's get that started. So what you want to do from here is you want to go back to GitHub, of course. Same first step, go to new, give it a repo name, test repo 2. I'm going to create it. I'm going to go back to my project. Now you can either do this from the built-in terminal, that was control backtick, or you can go from your terminal if you want. I'm going to CD, make sure you CD into your file, into your folder, I'm sorry, that you worked on. And now that I'm in here, I'm going to type git init, initialize an empty repository. That's good. And then the next steps are very similar. So we want to type git add. That's going to stage those files that you worked on. Git commit -m, my work I forgot to send. Now, instead of doing git push like we did the last time, what we're going to do instead is we're going to go to this page here and we're just going to highlight and copy these 2 lines. And while we are still in our test repo 2 project, we're just going to paste those right there, hit enter, and it's going to do its thing. And now it's done. So now if we go back to test repo 2, you can see that there's your work. And from here, it's the same process. So let's say I create a new folder, a new file, and okay, about.js apparently. I have a change here, added about.js file, check mark. GitHub's gonna, or VS Code's gonna do its thing. I send it up, and after a couple of seconds, I go back, refresh my page, and there it is. There's my new file right there. All right, guys, so hopefully this little tutorial was helpful on how to get set up using GitHub. If there's anything that I wasn't clear about and you want me to get a little bit more specific on, please, again, as always, leave me a message in the comments and I will be happy to address it for you. And other than that, have fun coding. Make sure to save your work often, and I will see you at the next video. Bye.